Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas. This is some new video of that explosion. You see it there outside the Trump Hotel. The driver of that vehicle was killed. 7 others were injured. And we now know that that Cybertruck was rented in Colorado.
We are learning from our John Miller that according to multiple law enforcement officers, this person who died in this attack, the driver of the Cybertruck, has a military background. Now, authorities say they do know the name of this driver, but they are not releasing this person's identity until they notify the next of kin. But they did say that this person rented the Cybertruck in Colorado via Turo, drove the Cybertruck down to Las Vegas, and was in Vegas for about an hour before it pulled in front of Trump Tower in the valet area when that explosion happened. Now, we were able to see video that they released that shows the explosives that were contained inside. Right there, you can see the Tesla bed, the Cybertruck bed, and some of those explosives included fireworks, gas tanks, and camping fuel, and all of that was connected to a detonation device that was controlled by the driver. Now, what's incredible that the sheriff pointed out is that the explosion was really contained to the Cybertruck because of the way that the Cybertruck is built. Apparently, the explosion went upwards, not outward, and so none of the glass at the Trump Tower was broken. 7 people were injured with minor injuries, but all of them are okay, and they have been released from the hospital. Now, Las Vegas police believe this was an isolated incident. They are not willing to say at this point that it is connected to the New Orleans incident, but they are investigating. And it is unusual that both drivers did use the Turo app to rent those cars. So obviously this is part of the investigation. We did really receive a statement from Turo tonight that says they're cooperating. They also said that neither of the drivers had a criminal background that would alert them as a security threat. Brianna?
Yeah, lots of questions here. Veronica, thank you for that. With us now, former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. We have former Assistant Secretary of Homeland Security Juliette Kayyem and former Boston Police Commissioner Ed Davis with us. Andy, you have President Biden confirming tonight officials are investigating whether there's a link between these 2 attacks. So we've talked about some of the similarities. What are the things you're looking at that could point in that direction?
A one-of-a-kind gift. Or one-size-fits-all gifts. Either way, one rate fits all. FedEx One Rate. Ship to your customers for a flat rate.
Well, so far, Brianna, we have 2 not necessarily relevant similarities, right? We know they both went to the same rental car agency, essentially this online service that facilitates private citizens leasing their own or renting their own cars to people. So they both use that same service. And we know that they both have military backgrounds. But again, these are things that could easily have been coincidence. That's not to say that these 2 events are not related. They wouldn't be investigating that very question if they thought it was something that wasn't possible. And if it turns out, and again, this is a big if because we don't know that at this point, but if it turns out that these 2 individuals knew each other, then we have a very significant issue on our hands here. That points to a conspiracy, coordinated effort that spans a large area, right? 2 very different states. We know the Las Vegas attacker started in Colorado, drove to Las Vegas and detonated that truck there, whereas the New Orleans attacker started in Houston and ended up, of course, in New Orleans to commit his attack. So connecting these 2 would be highly significant, but we are not quite on the verge of doing that at this point. We need a lot more detail to figure out if there are actually any interactions between these 2 people. Law enforcement has many resources, intelligence resources, law enforcement resources at their disposal that they can push against to see if there are any indicators that. I'm sure they're doing exactly that tonight.
Yeah, and Juliette, according to our John Miller, both the alleged Vegas perpetrator here and this New Orleans suspect, as Andy mentioned, had military backgrounds, so they both appear to be veterans. Both electric vehicles, both rented on Turo, as Andy also noted there. Explosive devices in both. I think we should note that, although the suspect in New Orleans was not able to detonate them before police took him out. There's also potentially some differences here. So where does that lead investigators as they're looking for further concrete links?
Yes, I think the connections that you and Andy describe, as well as just the fact they're on the same day, not many hours apart, would lead any investigator and any federal entity to determine whether there were linkages. Was there some coordination around timing and methods and means? But there are also a lot of differences. For one, the second attack in Las Vegas, sort of you combine Elon Musk and Donald Trump and the Trump Tower, that suggests someone who had a political focus against them or wanted to make a statement about one or both of them. That's not a coincidence. Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and that terrorism towards them, right, and the violence that was perpetrated presumably because of them is a form of terror, of course. And we've seen the former and future president, also be the victim of 2 assassination attempts. So this seems different as compared to what in New Orleans, which is very similar to what happened in Europe, right? That in France and Germany and elsewhere, where a car is simply used to mow down a lot of people. In this instance, and also utilization of a gun and other things, where you have an individual or a number of individuals who are motivated by terrorism, but maybe also in this case by other things. And that's what we will determine and what will be learned. Why is this relevant? It's a very different threat environment if this was coordinated for the nation. It just is. But if there are explanations for both that are limited to both of them, it does make the American public feel differently about the threat environment.
It certainly does. Ed, it's possible that law enforcement is poised to find out a lot of information because they are waiting on federal authorization to search a Houston home that they believe is connected to the New Orleans suspect. And authorities are saying they're hours and hours away from being able to enter that home. What are they looking for? How quickly do they need to get in there?
Hi, Brianna. It's really important that they get in there as quickly as possible. The attorneys will be assisting in writing up the documents and making sure that everything meets constitutional muster. And that can be done fairly quickly. I'm sure that overnight there's going to be leads that are developed. In every case that we have, the investigators work around the clock to make sure they're getting everything that they can. And I was often awoken at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning with the latest information. So all of that is in process right now. And my colleagues have said exactly the right thing. It is critically important that the investigators run down this potential link and also look at social media, look at any writings that they're going to find, and importantly, look at who his circle of friends are and acquaintances, people that he's been in contact with, and that information will come from the house. And then you can just very slowly and methodically go through each one of these individuals and question them. The other thing that's important in this case is it is such a high-profile case that anybody who had contact with this man will be reporting things to the authorities, and I think that's where we get a lot of our leads in a case like this.
And Juliet, the New Orleans. Sorry, go on.
Long after guests leave, viruses and bacteria linger. Air fresheners add a scent, but only Lysol Air Scent.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I heard feedback. I thought you were chiming in there, Juliet. I do want to note the New Orleans suspect made this series of videos talking about joining ISIS, also wanting to kill his family. He had an ISIS flag with him. Now we do have these questions of whether there are some connections. Do you expect that we are going to learn that there were big red flags before this attack?
I think so. Part of it is going to depend on 2 things. One is the radicalization process. lots of, was it relatively quick? It's honestly, it seems like what we know now, it was relatively quick, so that there might not be lots of tentacles to investigate. It may be also ISIS took advantage, or ISIS or people on social media, of a person who was searching for a cause to reflect his anger that he clearly had against his family. So when we say ISIS, there's a lot, or connections to ISIS. There's a difference between ISIS directed, which we saw in Paris or Berlin or elsewhere, and ISIS inspired, someone who is just finding meaning. It makes a huge difference for our purposes in terms of what are ISIS's plans here. Are they now launching another wave in Western cities and Western European cities, as well as the United States? And so and it goes to the most important thing, which is New Orleans safe now, or is Las Vegas safe now? They are, again, going to hold a major event tomorrow night. I think they should. They will increase security there. Whether this is a person who felt that they needed to do this because they were motivated by the language and violence of ISIS, as compared to directed, that's a very significant difference for the victims and for the city of New Orleans right now.
Oh man, that's tough.
We want to take it along.
Yes. Back in the building with another podcast. This is Raw Dope Podcast, and I'm your host, Sam 5000. And this is Raw Dope in the morning. And listen, man, I thank y'all for tapping in. And my famous saying every morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. And once again, man, I was a little late. Gonna give people some time to tap in here, but they gonna tap in here, man. Hey, listen, we got the Cybertruck attack in Vegas. We got the massacre in Bourbon Street, New Orleans, man. And then we got the boy Joe Budden sex walking, man. So I want y'all to tap in with me and vibe out with me and get in this motion with me. Help me out. You know what I mean? Help me out. But like I say, once again, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm in the building, man. I'm ready too. I'm in the building, man. I'm ready. I'm up. The phone lines gonna be open. Yeah, we ready to get busy. We ain't playing no games. Know what I mean, we ain't playing no games this morning. We ready to get busy. I'm waiting for my people to tap in. Some I'm just getting out the shower, ready for work. You know what I'm saying? I got a fan base that's ready for this. And I don't think they joking. They want to get in here and talk, and them phone lines gonna be banging. I'm in here, man, till it's done. Till it's all done, man. Then we got some random people on the chopping blocks too. Dudes killing their mother. Dudes doing, man, it's the second day in the year, bro, and the content is rolling. You know what I mean? The content is ready to go, bro. We is ready. You know what I mean? As YouTubers and everything, we is ready, bro. You know what I mean? The year is here, and we are happy that the year is here. Don't ever think we not. We happy. We're very happy that the year is here. I mean, the new year's here. But man, hey, listen, hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. I'm trying to share my video. When you your own man, you got to do a lot yourself. I'm trying to share my video. But hey, y'all tapping in with me. We get litty in the morning, man. We get litty, man. You just tapping in the Raw Dope in the morning. And I'm trying to do something real quick, y'all. I'm actually trying to copy my video. Oh, yeah, there it is. Good. All right. Let me get this up there. I have to get things up there in a rotation. You know what I mean? You know, man. But to tell everybody just tap in. Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's. You know what I mean? Happy New Year's. You know what I mean? Happy New Year's to everybody. You know? No, I'm not joining that. 7 o'clock. Oh, it's the Wake and Bake. It's the Wake and Bake hour. You know what I mean? Whether it's thousands of people in here or 5 people in here, I still got to get busy. All right, let me go here to the Grizzam. Let the gram know we out here. You know what I'm saying? Let the gram know we out here. You know what I mean? I don't know what to put in there, but I might have to go this way. I have to go this way. You know what I mean? Listen, y'all. This is deep, bro. We ready to talk. We ready to get in there, bro. It's like, running a little late this morning, don't got the links out there. And you know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, mhm. Yeah, I'm a real working. I'm a person that really put in work, man. I'm sharing my video. I'm up with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I just got to get my people time to get in here. I got my people time to get in here and do what they need to do. But right now, if y'all see me with my head down, I'm just sharing the video to my social media platforms. That's all. I was running a little late this morning, and that's what happens. Yeah. There we go. I spent it all around. So I'm happy now, y'all. Let's go and let's see what we're talking about this. Listen, official update on Tulsa Cybertruck fire in Las Vegas at Trump Hotel. So they saying this is I've been hearing ISIS. You feel me? I've been hearing ISIS. First thing happened. So they're trying to see is this Vegas and the New Orleans is connected. And once again, man, I'm gonna do a moment of silence right now. For those people, that lost their life in New Orleans, it was a tragic event. It was a tragic event, and we gonna get into it. And like I said, 7:30, the phone lines opening up, and when the phone lines open up, you guys can call in and ask me questions. If you ask me anything stupid or anything idiotic, I'm dunking on you. I ain't playing them games. The phone lines is definitely for me to tap in with the fans, for the fans to kick it, and you know what I'm saying, for what we need to do. You know what I mean, to get into this content. But let's talk about this. Let's go.
I'm taking to Las Vegas right now. Another news conference this on maybe a separate issue. We don't know for sure. It's the Cybertruck explosion outside a Trump hotel in Las Vegas. The chief now giving us a briefing.
That changed this morning at about 8:40 when a 2024 Tesla Cybertruck pulled into the area of valet of the Trump International Hotel. Very quickly thereafter that, the driver, who was the sole occupant of the truck, we saw what looked like maybe some sort of smoke, and then the truck exploded. Smoke was coming from inside of the truck after we noticed the flash and the explosion, and I'm gonna show you that first video. That's the Cybertruck parked right in front of the doors. Can you play that again, Carlos? So the individual that was in that truck is obviously deceased, still in the truck as we speak here today. Our fire department folks, Engine 12, a number of others, you'll hear from one of the fire chiefs here in just a moment, arrived very quickly along with my officers. And obviously we knew that we had a much larger event than just a vehicle fire. And so there's going to be a drone video that plays to my left again. You'll see as the fire initially, they covered it with a tarp to try to get it to go out. Once the fire went out through the suppression efforts of the fire department, you'll see some of the evidence in the back of the vehicle. So those are gasoline canisters. They are camp fuel canisters and large firework mortars.
Welcome 2025.
To pay attention to on that video, as you see that, it looks like the exterior of that truck is completely intact as it sits there. The fact that this was a Cybertruck really limited the damage that occurred inside of the valet, because it had most of the blast go up through the truck and out. In fact, if you look on that video, you'll see that the front glass doors at the Trump hotel were not even broken by that blast, which they were parked directly in front of. You can see that in the video there.
Wow.
What I will update, I'm very well aware that there's a name already been reported out into the media. I am not going to confirm any names to you as I sit here today because I cannot do that with 100% certainty of who the individual is. What I can tell you is we do know the truck was rented in Colorado. We were able to trace that truck through the Tesla charging stations, and it arrived here in Las Vegas this morning at about 7:30 and went up and down Las Vegas Boulevard before immediately pulling into the Trump Towers. Unfortunately, there were 7 people that reported injuries during this incident. All of them still remain as minor injuries and were treated at UMC. I would like to thank the Resorts World because, as you know, we had to close down the Trump and evacuate it, as well as the Fashion Show Mall. And the Resorts World was very gracious in taking those hundreds of individuals in over there, housing them and feeding them prior to us being able to completely clear the hotel. The hotel and Fashion Show are back open for business. The Trump will remain closed as we continue this lengthy investigation as we move forward. I'm going to yield now to Chief Billy Samuels, but I'd like you to also recognize all of our exceptional elected officials that have come to support the police and the fire department and this community in remaining safe. There is no further threat to the community as I sit here today. And I just want to make sure that our community understands we believe this to be an isolated incident, and it is now over as far as the danger. So, Billy?
So basically, a Cybertruck blew up in Trump Towers. God damn it, you know what I'm saying? That's tough, bro. But they said because that Cybertruck built so well, it ain't do no damage. Like, it's protected. You know what I mean? Elon knew what he was doing. But, that still don't justify this tragedy right there. 7 people are injured. Out of the 7 people that injured, he said all of them are minor injuries. You get what I'm saying? All of them minor injuries. And it happened in front of the Trump Tower. So, they're investigating that real heavy. But like I said, man, it's the first thing in the morning. By the time midday and 4 o'clock news come out, we'll know. We'll know, bro. Like, that's tough. That's tough. Man, that's tough. You know what I mean? That's tough. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's tough, bro. That's tough. Now I'm ready to go to this New Orleans thing. This New Orleans thing was bananas. Like, this New Orleans. You know what I mean? This was a tragedy down there, man. And I ain't gonna hold you, bro. Like, it got ugly down there. It got ugly down in New Orleans, man. I can only imagine people pain.
So let's bring in NBC News law enforcement and intelligence correspondent Tom Winter. He's been reporting all
Pray for the people in New Orleans. 10 people died, 26 was hurt, 2 cops shot.
You're learning much more about the suspect.
We sure are, and I'm going to fold in the reporting of my colleagues Julia Ainsley and Ken Delaney in here. First off, from an investigation standpoint, there is an active effort right now to investigate a potential improvised explosive device, so a homemade explosive device in plain English, found inside that individual's vehicle. There are at least 2 other potential, again, not confirmed, potential improvised explosive devices that were planted in the area. They're trying to determine, are those actual explosives? Could they have gone off? And are they tied to this particular individual? So they're looking at that as well. It's our understanding that this person had on his person a long gun as well as potentially another weapon. And the FBI now says on the record that this 42-year-old identified as Shamsuddin Jabbar, and the FBI has now identified him publicly, says that he's a U.S. citizen from Texas, that an ISIS flag was located, and I'm quoting now, and the FBI is working to determine the subject's potential associations and affiliations with terrorist organizations. Now, that ISIS flag that they say was located in the vehicle is believed to be affixed to the hitch on the tailgate. So if you look at this photo and you look at where the license plate is, it's a Texas license plate on the back of it, there's a white pole that kind of comes up there, and there's a black material, some sort of potentially a flag, a garment, whatever it is, that might be, in fact, the flag that was there. So that's something that they're looking at, Kate. In addition, we're told that they're looking into this vehicle and where they got it from, but there's no indication at this point that the person who rented this vehicle, which may have been through an application, so there's kind of like an Airbnb for cars, that this individual rented out the car, but may not have known this person's intentions. That's something that law enforcement will continue to look into. But again, the headlines here, the FBI now formally confirming the information that we broke several hours ago, that Shamsuddin Jabbar is in fact the person they believe is responsible for this deadly truck attack. We are told that shortly we will be, from multiple senior law enforcement officials, will hear that the death toll has risen, that this individual is a citizen from Texas. He was driving a Ford pickup truck, and that that truck had an ISIS flag that was found in it. And that's what the FBI is investigating at this standpoint, from this, at this hour, I should say, and that multiple special agent bomb technicians from the FBI and other local law enforcement agencies in this particular case, it would be the Louisiana State Police, the New Orleans Police Department, but typically Louisiana
Man, with my algorithm this morning, the show must go on, cuz.
On this, they'll take a look at some other devices, which we are reporting, according to 3 law enforcement officials briefed on the matter, at least 2 other devices that were planted in the vicinity that is obviously of high interest. This really changes a bit the security picture here, because if other devices were planted where they planted elsewhere in New Orleans, obviously we're all acutely aware of the event that is happening tonight in that city, the Sugar Bowl, and what does it mean for that event? So a lot of questions here, Kate and Morgan, but I'll kind of send it back to you for any questions you might have as we continue to do our reporting and pour through this.
Tom, first off, excellent reporting, because for our viewers who are just turning in, you gave us 4 really big new nuggets that really changed the landscape of what we've been seeing. You talked about the flag, ISIS flag. 2 potential IEDs. 3, more details from the suspect. We now know he's 42-year-old U.S.-born citizen born in Texas. And 4, you mentioned that the death toll was expected to rise.
That's tough, man.
Tom, and I want to go back to that flag
that
we're looking at here, attached to the hitch of the bed of that truck there. That was really striking to me, because I also saw when that looked at that photo, those 4 holes in the windshield, the back windshield there, that looked like.
I'm sad, man. I'm sad. Because I thought, ISIS was like kind of over with. You feel me? And, man. Whew. A moment of silence for the people in New Orleans. A moment of silence. Oh, man. One of the old sayings, and let me click this one. Just see how stupid it looks. Click this one. So it's an old saying. Your grandmother used to preach it, and I think it's in Revelations. At the end of the world, all this stuff is going to happen. If you watch ABC News and you watch CNN News and you watch Global News, right, y'all, you get a good understanding of certain things. And oh man, like I said, man, I've been saying this all week. Any act against humanity, bro, is deep. You drive a truck into a bunch of innocent people, man, and you kill innocent people. I have no remorse for you. Muslim, non-Muslim, Christian, Catholic, whatever you is, bro. I have no respect, for you when you do a crime against humanity. Now, the Sugar Bowl tonight or whatever, and it was yesterday, and people was on edge. Some people probably canceled their tickets. Some people probably didn't want to be there. But what you want to know is, like, what does a group, religious group or non-religious group, gas you up to just go kill innocent people? What reward do you think of killing innocent people that you want to receive? Just be honest with me. What reward did you think that you're gonna see or get for killing innocent people? How do you go to sleep at night and deal with life after killing innocent people? How do you think about things after killing innocent people? That's a hard pill to swallow after killing innocent people. That's a tough crime, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a real tough crime, man. That's a tough crime, man. That's beyond normal. You know what I'm saying? That's beyond normal. That was bananas. And I pray, man, that you know, I send my prayers up, man, you know, to people that was just out there to have a good time. And they said there's a lot of locals that it happened to, so I don't know, man. I'm gonna keep playing this, man. But it's tough, bro. It's tough, bro. It's easy. Then just to hear the name ISIS in the United States is just never good. You know what I mean? Please watch The Miracle of the Sun and Fatima on October the 13th, 1917. The sun and moon are alive. I am the second coming of the Christ. Times is short. The sun and moons are alive. What's good, Rod? Don't tap it in. Yeah, but I'm gonna finish playing this clip.
About whether or not he was working alone or if he had known associates. And two, Tom, do we have any, now that we have this name, do we have any indication of whether or not he'd had previous arrests, misdemeanors, felonies, anything in his record?
That's something that we're still pouring through with respect to what is referred to in law enforcement circles as suspect pedigree. Where did they come from? What's their date of birth? Do they have any active lawsuits for or against them? Do they have any sort of criminal history? That's information that we're still in the process of going through, and we'd like to do a lot of verification to get to that point. You're seeing a video of the immediate aftermath. There were, according to a video, I think that we're hopefully going to be able to show folks shortly, that's just been forwarded to me from our affiliate in New Orleans. Basically, this stops, and then there's a quick pause or two, and then a tremendous exchange of gunfire. So the bullet holes that you're seeing on the back of that car could have come from police. They could have come from police firing from the front to the back. They could have been, it's just the picture's not clear enough, could have been shots fired from the back to the front. We are told that investigators are looking into whether or not he was firing as he was driving this vehicle, that he may have been firing a gun while driving the vehicle. That's something they're looking into. We don't have that confirmed. That's going to require, obviously, a lot of work from an evidence standpoint. Clearly, some of that probably based off of eyewitnesses. We'll see if that turns out to be true, but they're at least looking into it. This idea, by the way, of flying an ISIS flag on the back of a pickup truck is something that we've seen before. Seyfulo Saipov, back in October of 2017 on Halloween, drove down the Upper West Side Highway here in New York City and conducted a terrorist attack in the name of ISIS, killing 8, injuring over a dozen. He had talked about, according to court records, the idea of actually flying an ISIS flag from the back of his truck, coincidentally also a rented pickup truck, that from a major retailer. But he talked about doing that, but thought it would attract too much attention and that the NYPD would see that and immediately try to stop him. Obviously, that's something that would certainly grab the attention of law enforcement, frankly, anybody. That flag is kind of ubiquitous in our society. So that is something that we've seen, talked about before, and that is something, obviously, that is of interest. The idea of driving through a crowd in vehicle ramming attacks is something that we've seen over the last decade. It's talked about in almost every single major propaganda that comes out from various terrorist organizations.
It's tough,
and as we recently reported on NBC News Now,
God
the story I
damn it,
believe we talked about
2025.
was the idea of how terrorist organizations are now using AI to produce terrorist propaganda because it allows them to be anonymous. You have the face and the voice of it being a computer somewhere instead of being an actual person, makes it more difficult for investigators to try to determine who is behind that propaganda. So this is an evolving landscape. A reminder that as we've been reporting here at NBC News for the past 9 months, the FBI has been especially concerned about the volume of terrorism investigations and attacks and thwarted attacks There's been a number of them. The Taylor Swift concert in Austria, the FBI, the U.S. is warning to Russian security agencies about what turned out to be a deadly attack at the Crocus concert hall there. There were several other investigations, including an election day here in the United States that was disrupted in a plot involving a relative of that suspect. France that was disrupted, as well as a number of potential incidents, not all necessarily tied to terrorism, that were thwarted before the Olympics. It's been an incredibly busy year in this landscape. It is at a tempo that we have not seen before, at least not since 2014, based on the officials that work in this space that I talked to. And so this is very real and has been a real genuine threat here, I would say, for the past year of this exact type of incident. The big question
That's the big question is, what the fuck they gonna do?
Knowing that all the information I just shared with you is information that was public prior to this event. How is it possible that a truck was able to drive down Bourbon Street?
That's my question.
In the early morning hours on New Year's Eve, when obviously there would be a lot of people out. There are a lot of people out in that street on a Tuesday in August, let alone at this time of the year. And as we saw here in New York City last night, it would not have been possible for this attack to take place. They fill up sanitation trucks with sand, and good luck to anybody trying to get through that. And so, obviously, serious questions need to be asked of New Orleans authorities. Was it an issue with overtime, and did politicians not allow that those type of protections go in? Was it a failure on the police department?
They're gonna sue the shit out of them.
A combination of things, like it usually is. Time will tell.
Yeah. Tom, before we let you go, can I just ask one question about the victims in all this, the people who've died, the people who are still hurt and in hospitals? Because you said when we came to you that the death toll has risen, which is the worst news we could imagine.
Hell yeah, F-150 going 100 down the street just smacking people.
They're passing away.
They said yesterday, it was the death toll was at 10.
The injuries here were horrific in nature, we're told. I don't think I need, out of respect to the victims, to get into specific details that we've been told and hearing.
Skulls probably was crushed.
That we get a
Stuff
briefing from
happens.
city
It's
officials
tough,
for
bro.
that death toll to rise. It's not because of any lack of
It's tough, bro.
extreme
I'm
effort
devastated.
by the medical community. It's just
that's why I don't like that shit, bro. Like going to big major events and you really want to go.
This idea that he was in fact firing out of the truck at that time, obviously, that would have added additional problems for the people that were in that crowd. That is something that law enforcement's tracking down. It's horrific. It's horrible, and obviously is going to be continued sad news, not only for the New Orleans community, but given the fact this attracts
them lawsuits, them people going to put on New Orleans. Like, how do somebody get into the main attraction with a car? Like, you can't drive a car to where they doing like the fireworks at the harbor. Like, all that's just, hey, yo, listen, all that's like down the harbor, in the harbor, or even down Fales. You see the big yellow trucks out there because your city supposed to protect you. You get what I'm saying? Your city can't call out an idiot, and the city shouldn't have to worry about an idiot running a goddamn car into a bunch of people. Then he got the ISIS flag on there, and that's really sad, bro. Born and raised in America, and you on the ISIS tip, bro. That's sad, bro. That's a crime of humanity, bro. Nobody gonna have no mercy on you, bro. That's not in the name of Allah. That's not what the Islamic community stands for. And ISIS is a terrorist group that the United States of America need to dismantle. Because, man, see, ISIS is a problem all across the world, but it's a bigger problem when it come right here into the land of the free. And you got people on this internet. That's why I say this internet stuff is a gift and a curse. Now they saying, the leaders using AI so they can't be identified, and they what they call hypnotizing people to go out here to risk their life. They hypnotizing people to go out here and risk their life. Like, real talk, bro. Like, that's dangerous, bro. I could never see me doing a crime like that in the name of nothing. You know what I'm saying? In the name of nothing. That don't make no sense to me, bro. What did ISIS tell you to make you so mad at a bunch of innocent people? That's just it. If y'all have a problem with the government or do whatever you want to do with the government, all right, it's not right, but hey, that's what you do. You just don't take the reason why I say that these terrorist groups are full of BS, because you can't, and the people that follow this in the States, like, bro, how you get hypnotized and people telling you to have a problem with people you don't even know. None of them, all them people, you from Texas, all them people you killed on Bourbon Street, bro, ain't had nothing to do with nothing. Probably half of them don't even vote, bro. Half of them, probably 80% of them not Muslims. Or did nothing to no Muslims. And then a lot of people ain't in the army. Ain't the president, ain't related to the president. So you really just killed some people that just trying to enjoy New Year's Eve. That's what you did, bro. And you also made New Orleans lose money. You know what I mean? Just as a whole, because I know one thing for sure, and two things for certain. When they tell me something heroic happened somewhere, I pass on going. I wanted to go to New Orleans. Never been to New Orleans. That was on my to-do list. I ain't going on Bourbon Street. That's where I ain't going at if I go to New Orleans. I'm not hanging out where it's a bunch of people and it's a tourist attraction and these people can go crazy. That's why I don't like taking trips on holidays, Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, none of that shit, bro. I don't really like it because the way the world's set up, bro, you never know if it's just that day. You never know if it's just that day. You can't predict that. Allah knows best, bro. You know what I mean? He who fears death is in denial. He who fears death is in denial. Well, I have to be in denial going certain places. I don't fear death because I know that's coming, but I'm in denial going certain places. Like, bro, I do fear, because just last year, a guy rolled a truck through here. They didn't barricade the place. They didn't protect the people. You know what I mean? You have to protect the people at large events, bro. It's just like they had their shoes off. They had their shoes off, man. New Orleans, Atlanta, Houston, certain places, bro. You always got to have top-notch security when you had them big events. That's just how it goes. That's how it goes, understandably. That's how it goes. So hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. I don't know what's going on. Like nobody in here, but it's different. But the people that's in here, I appreciate you, and I'm gonna keep it going. So here we go, man. We're gonna listen to this a little bit.
Because of that, they decided, I don't know why, to take down all the ballers, essentially take down all the security precautions. In the past, they had hydraulic barriers that you see outside of embassies, the White House, any kind of secure facility. They didn't have them this time. And people are asking why. That's one of the big questions. The other question is why this guy chose New Orleans,
Yeah.
Did he see this as a soft target? Did he know because of the Sugar Bowl crowd, the New Year's Eve crowd, did he know people were going to be, having a lot of drinks and it's 3 o'clock in the morning and maybe not reacting that fast? And so, they're going through all that. Those are the questions they're going to ask. And who is this guy? How did he get radicalized? He was a veteran, but
how did he get radicalized? He's a veteran.
Videos that we haven't seen yet, but that President Biden alluded to that the FBI has found, declaring his allegiance to ISIS. So what else do we know about this guy? He was born in Texas. He's an American citizen. I was reading, he was decorated when he was serving in the military. I think he has an anti-terrorism award or some sort of medal that he was given. And this is him here. He's 42 years old. He worked in human resources and IT in the military. That supported him and enlisted both in the Army and he was also the Army Reserves. He mentioned his military record on a YouTube video that's out there talking about his real estate business because he was advertising himself as a realtor and a property manager in Texas and talking about his roots in Texas and that he was in the military and he can get the job done. And when you look at that video and you listen to this guy talk, the first thing that comes to your mind is not an ISIS terrorist. It looks like any sort of realtor property manager you would see across America. And yet somehow between that time and last night, this guy became a terrorist, got radicalized, swore his allegiance to ISIS, and decided to kill Americans. Again, his own country, kill his own countrymen on Bourbon Street, one of the most famous streets in all of America. And Tom, there's so much talk. I mean, I heard it just people on the street talking about whether or not we're going to see the Sugar Bowl tomorrow. That Sugar Bowl is set to start tomorrow. It's supposed to happen tonight. But is there a possibility that it is postponed again? I'll tell you this, because having grown up, gone to school in New Orleans, my wife's from New Orleans, there's 3 major events in New Orleans every year, right? You have Mardi Gras, you have Jazz Fest, and you have the Sugar Bowl. And the Sugar Bowl is massive. It's one of the biggest college football games around. University of Georgia and Notre Dame, 2 huge teams that have huge fan followings. Everyone's in town for that. And they decided to postpone it tonight, which was probably the right call, right? You have 15 Americans dead. You have all these people in the
15 dead now. I was on 10.
Secure because there were IEDs that they discovered. So they decided to postpone it for a day. The governor says that's enough. He'll be at the game. But you got to also wonder, is it
What that
is the
mean,
tone
Governor?
right? I mean, is it
Like,
too
people
quick after
dead.
this terror attack?
Fuck that game.
I don't know. I'm not going to answer those questions. But those questions.
I
are
don't
being
care
asked.
about the
The
game
Super
after
Bowl-
all
the
them
Su-
people
the
die.
Superdome was swept. It's just down from here, and they feel like it's secure. And George Solis pointed this out when I was talking to him. Our correspondent George Solis, this is one of the most secure areas now on the planet, but it's because 15 people have died. Right. And lastly, another question that we probably can't answer, but those IEDs, those two other IEDs. They say that they were somewhere around here. Do we know where they were found? City Council President just spoke to Helena Moreno, said, look, a lot of this is fluid. From her understanding, it was around Orleans and Bourbon, which is a little further down. She's, and I say it's fluid because things are changing. It's early in the investigation. But she was told when she first got the calls about this, she wanted to come down here and see the scene. They said, you can't. And that was one of the reasons why they were worried about these IEDs. So there was a concern. They think there was at least two of them. They didn't detonate. He had another explosive on him as well in the pickup truck, from what we understand. And I'm sure that information will just get further confirmed or may change. We've had so many questions. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And we'll keep you in the loop here. And joining us now is Evie Pompori. She is an NBC
This shit
News
sad, bro.
Our law enforcement analyst, former Secret Service special agent. Evie, thank you so much for being with us tonight. This is such a high-profile target here, and yet this comes at a time when we're about to see so many people gathering in the coming weeks. We've got bowl games all over the country. We've got the Sugar Bowl here, possibly tomorrow. The Super Bowl, that's in a little bit more than a month.
Mardi Gras.
What does this do to the threat level everywhere? And what is security going to look like going forward?
I think you're definitely going to see an increase of security going forward. However, always keep in mind that these events, like if you're looking at the Super Bowl, it's an NSSE event. That's always been super secure. You've got federal agencies coming in. Actually, U.S. Secret Service is one of the head agencies that secures NSSE events, Super Bowl. For tomorrow, for the Superdome, for that event, I suspect it's going to happen. I think they have a pretty good plan in place. Also, with events like that, they're enclosed. So when I say enclosed, they're in a structure. Not that there's no vulnerabilities, but there are less vulnerabilities than when you're at an open site. So you have to think of it this way. You've got a secure structure. You've got it cleaned and swept inside. Once it's cleaned and swept inside, meaning that there's no IDs, it's been checked for any weapons, it's secure now. Now you're going to set up a perimeter. You've got your police presence, your post, your law enforcement, and then you create a funnel system in which you're going to direct the public to come in. And then as they're going through those checkpoints, you'll be checking the public for weapons. They'll be going through magnetometers. Also, K9 will be there to see if they pick up any sense of explosive devices, if anybody handled anything, or if anything's on somebody's person. At that point, once people get swept themselves, then they can go in. So you've got people in the clean site. Indoors, I'm not concerned.
What up? Where my people at? Like this video, share this.
The thing is going to be,
if you're new to the channel, become a member.
To be secure. Are they going to clear the roads? There's parking facilities there. Are those parking garages going to be open so that people can actually pull up and park their vehicles? Or are they going to push the public further back? I suspect they're going to push people further back and maybe not let them come as close with their vehicles, given that what we're looking for. And then postponing the event to tomorrow is probably a very good call, not just for all the things that are transpiring, but because of the concern that there could have been potential co-conspirators. And so with that, you really don't know what you're dealing with. They're kind of sorting that out right now, leaning to maybe it was just him and there weren't any others. But as you're trying to figure out and finesse all these things, there's so many unanswered
What's good? What's good? What's good with
tomorrow is good. And look, you're also probably going to
my
see
people at, man? I've been in here since 6:45. I know the thumbnail was set at 6. When I'm in here, I gotta rock out. Where y'all at? Where y'all at?
Security, FBI, ATF, probably U.S. Secret Service. Then you've got local police departments, state police. So you're gonna have to figure out, okay, what is our new plan now? Where do we put all our people? How do we secure and lock down the event?
And how do you secure or lock down an event when there is a possibility that there are more people out there? I know that there's been a lot of conflicting reporting and there's been some couching going on. But earlier today, the FBI said that they believe that he did not act alone here. There was speculation that there were some other people that may have been involved locally. We've had some incredible reporting from Ken Delanian, from Tom Windsor, who have been speaking to sources saying that maybe
if you just tapping in, man, this the tragedy in New Orleans on Bourbon Street. 42-year-old man drives a pickup truck, killed 15 people. I mean, it's ugly, man. The New Year's Eve, bro, these people going crazy down there, like, and then the Cybertruck explosive.
It's still
But
unfolding.
hold up.
We're hearing about how his home is.
After we get, pay our respect to this topic on New Orleans and the Cybertruck attack on Trump Tower in Vegas, we got to get the Dirty Joe. Now, listen, I'm just giving you the main course right now. We got to get to the dessert, and that's the boy Dirty Joe Buttons. You know what I mean? I'm had to go in, Joe been clean for a while. But, man, Joe sleepwalking, butt naked, and knocking on his neighbor's doors. We want to talk about that, Joe. We want to talk about that, Joe Buttons. Joe Buttons, you slide everybody. You talk. You been off the chopping block for a minute. Last time I was on Joe Button's line was when he fired, Roy Mal, that whole situation. And it's been a while. I mean, I felt like Joe just been doing all right. But Joe sleepwalking butt naked, man. Come on, Joe. We not trying to hear it, Joe. We on your ass, Joe. Let's go. Let's friends get into this New Orleans thing.
President Biden saying that officials are now investigating whether there is a link between the deadly terror attack in New Orleans and the Tesla Cybertruck explosion that happened outside of Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas. This is some new video of that explosion. You see it there outside the Trump Hotel. The driver of that vehicle was killed. 7 others were injured. And we now know that that Cybertruck was rented in Colorado.
We are learning from our John Miller that according to multiple law enforcement officers, this person who died in this attack, the driver of the Cybertruck, has a military background. Now, authorities say they do know the name of this driver, but they are not releasing this person's identity until they notify.
So both of these guys got a military background.
This person rented the Cybertruck in Colorado via Turo, drove the Cybertruck down to Las Vegas, and was in Vegas for about an hour before it pulled in front of Trump Tower in the valet area when that explosion happened. Now, we were able to see video that they released that shows the explosives that were contained inside. Right there, you can see the Tesla bed, the Cybertruck bed. And some of those explosives included fireworks, gas tanks, and camping fuel, and all of that was connected to a detonation device that was controlled by the driver. Now, what's incredible that the sheriff pointed out is that the explosion was really contained to the Cybertruck because of the way that the Cybertruck is built. Apparently, the explosion went upwards, not outward, and so none of the glass at the Trump Tower was broken. 7 people were injured with minor injuries, but all of them are okay, and they have been released from the hospital. Now, Las Vegas police believe this was an isolated incident. They are not willing to say at this point that it is connected to the New Orleans incident, but they are investigating. And it is unusual that both drivers did use the Turo app to rent those cars. So obviously this is part of the investigation. We did really receive a statement from Turo tonight that says they're cooperating. They also said that neither of the drivers had a criminal background that would alert them as a security threat. Brianna?
Dang.
Yeah, lots of questions here. Veronica, thank you for that. With us now, former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. We have former Assistant Secretary of Homeland Security Juliet Kayyem, and former Boston.
This is gonna get this is tough, yo.
You have President Biden confirming tonight officials are investigating.
Both of them rented cars from Toro. Both of them got military background, and both of them did it the same day. That might be. That might be. They might be on to something.
Well, so far, Brianna, we have 2 not necessarily relevant similarities, right? We know they both went to the same rental car agency, essentially this online service that facilitates private citizens leasing their own or renting their own cars to people. They both use that same service. And we know that they both have military backgrounds. But again, these are things that could easily have been coincidence. That's not to say that these 2 events are not related. They wouldn't be investigating that very question if they thought it was something that wasn't possible. And if it turns out, and again, this is a big if because we don't know that at this point, but if it turns out that these 2 individuals knew each other, then we have a very significant issue on our hands here. That points to a conspiracy, coordinated effort that spans a large area, right? Two very different states. We know the Las Vegas attacker started in Colorado, drove to Las Vegas and detonated that truck there, whereas the other, the New Orleans attacker started in
Top of the
Houston
morning, top of the morning. Everybody who tapping in, top of the morning. What's good?
Connecting these two.
We talking about New Orleans and Vegas Cybertruck and pickup truck attack. In Vegas, it was no fatalities. In New Orleans, the death toll is up to 15.
Between these two people. Law enforcement has many resources, intelligence resources, law enforcement resources at their disposal that they can push against to see if there are any indicators that. I'm sure they're doing exactly that tonight.
Yeah, and Juliet, according to our John Miller, both the alleged Vegas perpetrator here and this New Orleans suspect, as Andy mentioned, had military backgrounds, so they both appear to be veterans. Both electric vehicles, both rented on Turo, as Andy also noted there. Explosive devices in both. I think we should note that, although the suspect in New Orleans.
Yeah, all this look like it's they. I don't want to say they know each other, but
there's also
I would say they on the same tip.
Differences here. So where does that
it ain't? Yeah, that's different.
Looking for further concrete links.
Yes, I think the connections that you and Andy described as well is just the fact they're on the same day.
Yeah.
Not many hours apart wouldn't.
Right. I believe that.
Investigator and any federal entity.
It's gonna leave it. It's gonna leave it the way it is.
Some coordination around timing and methods and means, but there are also a lot.
Oh man, my man say I live in Vegas and it's a little upsetting how little people, cars, everyone is just so nonchalant. Yeah.
That suggests someone who had a
yeah, boy, because it ain't blow the Trump Tower up. If it would have blew the Trump Tower up, people be moving the fuck out of Vegas.
That's just
because ain't nobody, you know, people got hurt, but ain't nobody died. That's why people just moving around nonchalant. They feel like it's isolated. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Vegas got 24 hours, 365, you know, rotation. You know what I'm saying? Vegas got all this rotation in a situation. They got 24 hours of rotation of constant people in and out of. That's a real big tourist attraction. I would be on my motherfucking P's and Q's if I lived in Vegas or New Orleans. Like this dude ain't picked Texas to do it, and they don't know what this other dude. No, one dude ran a car in Colorado. Now listen, this is what y'all ain't understanding. They ain't too crazy because he rented the car in Colorado and drove it to Vegas. Yo from Houston and rented his car and drove it to New Orleans. So they went in other places to commit their crime. They didn't want to hurt their city and where they was from. I guess they didn't want it to look bad on their family. You get what I'm saying? That's the only reason I'm thinking about it. Like, bro, Vegas is about, think 8 to 12 hours from Colorado. So I'm saying, yo, you know what I mean? Like, come on, bro, you did that. And then they killed themselves. Like, what type of human being, even from America, want to be a part of a group to tell you go risk your own life in the name of what they got going on? That's stupid, bro. You know, I just got to be honest with you. Like, y'all took, you know, if you blow up a car, you ain't standing a chance to live. You know, you just drove that car all the way down the street and the police is going to put that gun on you after you killed all them people. So these are just acts of, like they call them, it's like suicidal acts that result in death. They not smart at all. If you have something that hypnotizes you to tell you to go kill, and it doesn't hold no value. You tell somebody telling you to go kill, you hypnotized by this, and you really go kill a bunch of people, and you from America. That's the crazy part. Y'all not even from, you know, out the country. Y'all from in the country. That's what I never get. Like, why are you in the country doing that? Like, why, bro? Like, why? Yo, like, come on, man. That ain't what we was raised on. That ain't what we on. If you mad, yeah, I don't know what you mad at, like, but you just get with a bunch of people from a foreign country just mad at the country for whatever reason. They mad at the country, but you don't have the same reason to be mad. You feeling their pain and you don't got nothing. And the dude looked like the other dude just from the New Orleans situation looked like he could be, you get what I'm saying, from Arab, you know what I mean, have some ties or family. He looked Arabic, you get what I'm saying? So, and that's some beautiful Arabic brothers and sisters that come from those Western countries that do not entertain ISIS. They hate ISIS and them terrorist groups just as much as we do here in America, as much as people do, because they ignorant and they do, you know what I mean, they do attack against humanity, and that's not and you can't do that in the name of God. Like God don't want you to just go kill a bunch of people at a time. So it doesn't make no sense. And I just don't understand how these young or old, this man 42 years old, military background, probably living good. And you go and just do all this and put your family on the edge and have your family scared for the rest of their life because you done killed so many people, family, the way as though agents and all them gonna be investigating your family, like everything. But you idiots is gone. You get what I'm saying? You killed yourself, so you don't get no feedback and no heat or nothing, yo. And the people running up in your house now, your family got that radar on them forever, forever. Then you're gonna have people, just especially if their families are descendants from overseas. People don't want you here no more. You know what I mean? And you ain't had nothing to do with what this idiot did, but just because you breeded this idiot, made this idiot, and this idiot call you family, people want your whole family gone. That's how bad that is. People can target their family. That didn't have nothing to do with that, but they are getting on the line and falling in love with something that comes from out the country. ISIS wasn't created in the United States of America. You don't know nothing about that, bro. And then even if you was a person to go and be in the military and to go to these foreign countries, I gotta agree with you. Some things that the people in our country do ain't right. You get what I'm saying? You might have fell, you know what I'm saying? You might have fell for the kids, or you might, a lot of those military dudes be overseas for long and they come back Muslims, but they don't come back radical Muslims. You know what I mean? You might have just, fell in love with the religion and the way of life. Some people from America went over there and lived. But to come back and act like you got a problem with the country that you serve and protect, the free land, you ain't going through what them people go through. You can't even tell yourself you understand. You know what I'm saying? Because you wasn't born there. You wasn't born into that. Now, I mean, some things you just got to leave it up to God. You get what I'm saying? If you feel as though you fighting for your people, one day everybody that did the fuck shit, the fake shit, and the foolishness will have a day of judgment. You know what I mean? Evil gets answered. You know what I'm saying? People been countries and leaders been dictating in them foreign countries doing fucked up shit forever. But everything has a due date on it, bro. All empires crash, bro. You get what I'm saying? Especially when they not protecting and serving these people the right way. They go down, they're not gonna rule forever. So that's how I look at it. But to take matters in your own hand, bro, and to hurt all those people is fucked up, bro. And the best thing them dudes could ever do is to kill themselves because they'll get hurt in prison. They'll really get hurt in prison. Good morning, good morning, good morning, man. Thanks for tapping in. If you just tapped in, hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment, but like this video and share it. Put it in your community. Share this video and say, Raw Dope Live. My man been on since 6:45 this morning. He tapping in, and we talking about the Cybertruck attack in Las Vegas in front of the Trump Tower, and the person driving an F-150, I truly believe, electrical car all through Bourbon Street, killing 15 people, injuring 26, and he also shot 2 police officers. That's what's on the chopping board. And before I end, round about close to the 8 o'clock hour, I got to talk about y'all, man. Dirty Joe Budden. He always roasting somebody. He always got something to say. That boy was sleepwalking, butt naked. He claimed he was sleepwalking, knocking on his neighbor door. Or was he off the coat? You know what I mean? What was he off that he can think he gonna knock on somebody's door butt naked? If I was his neighbors, I'd have whooped his ass. But I'm gonna let play another little clip right here and go get me a cup of that good old water, to start my day off with. Now, Happy New Year's, though.
Individual or a number of individuals who are motivated by terrorism, but maybe also in this case by other things. And that's what we will determine and what will be learned. Why is this relevant? It's a very different threat environment if this was coordinated for the nation. It just is. But if there are explanations for both that are limited to both of them, it does make the American public feel differently about the threat environment.
It certainly does. Ed, it's possible that law enforcement is poised to find out a lot of information because they are waiting on federal authorization to search a Houston home that they believe is connected to the New Orleans suspect. And authorities are saying they're hours and hours away from being able to enter that home. What are they looking for? How quickly do they need to get in there?
Hi, Brianna. It's really important that they get in there as quickly as possible. The attorneys will be assisting in writing up the documents and making sure that everything meets constitutional muster. And that can be done fairly quickly. I'm sure that overnight there's going to be leads that are developed in every case that...
Hit that notification button. Happy New Year's to you too, bro. Hit that notification button. Like this video. Like this video if you ain't already liked this video.
I was often awoken at 3,
If you
4,
look at
5
this guy,
o'clock in the
man, he look
morning with the
Arabic,
latest
bro.
information.
He look Arabic.
So all of that is in process right now.
He done became Muslim and thought he was one of the brothers, man.
It
And
is critically
one of them crooked brothers, man. The dirty Muslim brothers, man. And
potential link, and also
he killed himself, bro.
Look at any
Killed
writings that they're going to find, and importantly, look at
around the 8 o'clock hour, I open up the phone lines. Y'all see the number. Call in to respectful. Call in to be respectful. But put your prayers up right now. I'm gonna do it again, man. A moment of silence for those individuals that lost their life in New Orleans. Thank you. So, you know what I mean? Y'all on y'all way to work. You know, it's the top of the year. Everybody get back to work, but let's go. We got to get into Dirty Joe. Dirty Joe. Joe Buttons, boy. Joe Buttons been off the chopping block, at least for me. I thought he was doing good. Few misunderstandings with his crew. You know, the Joe Button Network, he's doing his thing. Mr. Independent, you know what I mean? But, man, they got the boy Dirty Joe in the headlines, y'all. Dirty Joe out of you know what I mean? I mean, they're violating them. They joking. It's hilarious. I don't know what to say, man. Dirty Joe. Dirty Joe. So Joe Buttons was charged right here for nude sleepwalking charges. So we don't know, was he sleepwalking, but you know, I guess he said he was sleepwalking. Tried to put the code in somebody's door. That possibly happened. He knocked on his neighbor's door butt naked. He's charged with different charges. But I gotta be honest with you, man. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. You get what I'm saying? It's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's hilarious, but it's not funny. Because, you know, if it was a woman living in there and then you butt naked, come to somebody's door, they ain't gonna instantly think you trying to do something crazy. Was he sleepwalking or was he off the drugs? That's my question. You know what I mean? Was he sleepwalking or was he off the drugs? That's what I want to know. Was he sleepwalking or was he off the drugs? You know what I mean? That's what I want to know. That's just what the biggest thing. That's what we want to know. Here we go.
Baller alert. Joe Budden charged after naked incident in Edgewater, New Jersey. X, formerly known as Twitter, is buzzing after a viral tweet revealed that Joseph Budden Jr., known as Joe Budden, age 44, was charged with lewdness following an unusual incident earlier this month. On December 29th, 2024, a Twitter account by the name The October Film posted a screenshot of Budden's arrest record with the caption, "Breaking news, at Joe Budden has a court date on January 16th for disorderly lewdness, a charge related to sexual misconduct or indecency in public. He previously claimed the JBP had to relocate for recording in a residential building, but there seems to be more to the story. Stay tuned." The post quickly gained traction. On December 30th, 2024, the Edgewater Police Department issued a press release providing details of the December 4th event. According to the statement, officers were called to an Edgewater apartment complex at approximately 7:21 a.m. after a resident reported a disturbing incident. The caller, who was alerted by their doorbell camera, saw their neighbor, identified as Joe Budden Jr., standing completely naked outside their apartment door. The video allegedly shows Budden attempting to enter a code into the resident's door keypad multiple times before retreating to his own apartment across the hall. Following an investigation, Budden Jr. was charged with lewdness, a disorderly persons offense under New Jersey law, 2C 14-4A. Edgewater Police Chief Martin emphasized in the release, these charges are merely accusations, and the defendant is presumed innocent until and unless proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Ain't no accusation if his ass was on that door camera.
In court on January 16th, 2025.
Yeah. Yeah, like, bro was all something. I don't believe you was no fucking sleepwalking. You ain't got no history of sleepwalking, Joe, but you was a dirty dog. You was a dirty dog playing games, and you done, and we on your ass as journalists. We on your line, boy. We on your line, boy. We on your line, Joe.
Into the door keypad several times before re-entering his own.
Everybody pretty much saying the same thing.
On December 4th, 2024, at approximately 7:21 a.m., the Edgewater police were dispatched to an apartment complex for the report from a resident that a man was standing outside of their apartment.
I wonder, was it a woman or a man resident?
The caller recognized.
That's what they not saying.
Neighbor, Joseph Budden Jr.
That's crazy.
A 44-year-old male. The caller was alerted to Budden by the doorbell camera. The video depicted Budden attempting to enter code into the door keypad several times before re-entering his own residence across the hall. As a result of the police investigation, Budden was charged with lewdness, disorderly persons offense on the complaint summons.
Nice.
What the hell? Joe Budden, what is you doing?
Yeah, bro. Joe, we want some answers, Joe. We want some answers, Joe.
How ironic is this story right now for me?
You know what I mean? Like, we want some answers, Joe. We want some answers, Joe. I play every day. We want
more details come out about Joe Budden's shady night in Jersey. That's right, y'all. Everybody's talking about Joe Budden's situation where he was kicked out of his apartment complex and also doubled as a studio and his living quarters. But there's more details that I've been made aware of, multiple sources telling me what's going on. And a lot of it is bad, but a lot of it is good as well. I think the most notable thing is that there's obvious tension between Joe and another neighbor. Now, this neighbor is someone who he's had multiple kind of spats with, issues with. It's not a situation where the whole building hates Joe. It's really not that. They actually seem to like Joe, care for Joe, or even think it's cool that Joe is recording out of their studio. But this other neighbor, a situation is really critical. So remember on the pod when Joe was talking about interacting with a neighbor, and along the way he said that she was racist, or he called her racist? Well, that neighbor's significant other did not take too kindly to that and held resentment moving forward. And I think that's what may have led to this ultimate confrontation boiling over. I think had Joe had a decent...
See, that's why I always dig deep into the crates.
Neighbor, they might not have gone to the ultimate levels of calling the cops, escalating, getting lawyers involved. But because of the bad blood, this thing got out of proportion and it went real crazy. But there's also other factors to consider. For example, I do think this is a racially charged incident. Now, the reason I think that is there's a lot of real demographics.
I gotta listen to this, y'all.
Even though it might be more diverse than like a small town in a flyover country, but it's still gonna be like Joe's gonna be of a certain background that is not easily replicated in that building. And I assume the neighbors Joe have issues with, they are not gonna think that they're being prejudiced. But Joe probably like, hey man, I'm just living my life. I'm just recording. I'm not necessarily doing anything bad. You have this perception of me because of maybe your background. And then Joe goes on the pod and accuses the neighbor of being racist, and that is kind of just a cluster, you know what, of emotions and so what and so on.
But he still walked to their people shit naked.
You know, evidence of the night of, and even kind of getting multiple sources, it does feel like the cops were a bit overkill. Like from what I seen, there was like mad cops at the building. I'm talking about like it was almost as if
you gotta have mad cops when somebody
went over there and was threatening to bomb the complex. And for me, I would pretty
Edgewater,
much
New Jersey, boy, yeah.
This was
that's a little town that's right outside of New York, right? It's really, really close to New York.
But there's also other reports from TMZ that indicate that maybe this should have been escalated, but it was a situation where Joe was banned from the apartment complex. He was banned. He couldn't come back. And if he did come back, he had to be escalated by the front desk and so on and so forth. Also, the studios were right on top of his complex. So essentially imagine a situation where he's on the 3rd floor and then on the 2nd floor is where he lives. And yeah, once that awkward situation between Joe and the neighbors
opening the phone lines up in the 8 o'clock hour.
It was essentially as if it would never matter and Joe could never be around the premises. And on top of that, I think Joe doesn't want to be there anymore. I think Joe realizes that his days there are numbered. Even if they're able to rectify the situation, that building cannot hold Joe's operation anymore. And I want to reiterate from a previous video that I don't think they're mad. The neighbors are at recording, from what I gathered. A lot of people think the neighbors are my source. They certainly aren't. I'm not talking to the neighbors of Joe Budden that filed this, because if I was, I would probably be more take sides against Joe. But I actually think this situation, the optics are terrible.
Why was he naked knocking on somebody's door,
made
bro?
a severe misstep.
He's got to prove sleepwalking beyond a reasonable doubt.
And escalated this past a point where now all of the factors are now starting. It's a gray area, the racially motivated part. Maybe Joe is a bit ostracized by that community for what he's bringing, being a representative of hip hop culture, being someone who, even though they enjoy him, his presence is unnerving. And even though they look up to him,
he has a whole black staff. They don't want that.
Royce. Oh man, he got that Ferrari. But just the idea of someone with such a loud platform being able to go to the pod and paint a picture of the complex as being, racist is scary.
Yeah.
But then again, Joe is probably like, no, there's evidence of me being mistreated because of the way I look.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot going on. And as for how this impacts the show moving forward, he's probably like, thank God I'm alive, because I do think Joe was close to the gun line. I've said this in a previous video. It could have been a situation where either the neighbor could have gone crazy on Joe and used it as a justification for protecting himself because of what he saw allegedly on the ring cam, or the cops may have, felt like they had to go to the next level. And I think everybody who lives in America knows that in certain areas, cops can be more aggressive. So, like, well-resourced
and those rich races area, cops are very aggressive.
Like, I know in New York City, there's NYPD who obviously has a history of brutality, but there's other places like Long Island where the cops are so well-resourced, they're so well-funded that they're looking for a reason to use those resources. And I'm not too familiar with New Jersey, but Edgewater might have some parallels to that type of Long Island cop culture.
Yeah, they do.
And luckily, nothing happened in terms of violence.
They ain't gonna have that in the Edgewater.
The neighbors are going all the way. Like, they're going all the way. They're bringing the guns out. They're getting nasty. And they're not going to let Joe slide.
They not.
They feel as if he painted a picture on the pod that they are not okay with.
Told you.
I assume some type of settlement might occur, or maybe.
I feel like if you can't get a black man on drugs or murder or guns or for these celebrities, because you look at this, take you back to Jay-Z and Diddy. I'm about to ride out for a minute. When you're a black celebrity and you successful, it's sad to say this, but it's the truth. Us people that's in this business and trying to make it to the upper echelon have to remember, this is America. This is a free country. You should be able to spend your money and live where you want to live. But the reality of it is, this is America, and it is fucked up people that this country is governed by. So when dudes go step out there and step out their body and say, "Hey, I want to wear this pretty white suit in this green party," and everybody got on green, I have a white suit, you stand out like a sore thumb. So with that being said, I just be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I'm really big on just going places and moving places that's diverse, not over flooded with blacks, not over flooded with white, not over flooded with Hispanics, not over flooded with Asian, just a mixed culture. So you know what I'm saying? We all get along. Now I could believe that Joe Buttons, it's believable people sleepwalk. If he has a history of sleepwalking and stuff like that, then the courts will understand that, and he could seek medical attention for that. But if he just really did that, I don't, because they saying is a woman and a man there that lives there, and they must be, of another race, and he doesn't like Joe, and Joe just sleepwalked to their house. They not lying. Joe could have been killed. But one thing I say is, when you ain't got drugs, you ain't got guns, you ain't got violence, you ain't got pimping, you ain't got scamming. There's no other way to take a black man down but to put him in the media for like a decent exposure or sex offense or some crazy shit like that to fuck your name up. You get what I'm saying? And then when you go go against wealthy people who created their, financial status not off of entertainment, you know what I mean? They tend to think that entertainers, got it easy. Then you're a man of color. So, like Yo said, they bringing out the smoking guns. They coming in there with lawyers. Joe Buttons, he's rich. So, and then, by him having to move his podcast, that dug in his bag. You get what I'm saying? Had to set your shit up, get a new place, get a new lease, and do all that. And plus, he lived in the building too. That's like really time consuming. And he records a lot. So I say that to say that, black man and black woman, bro, you gotta stop thinking that because your bank account says that you're elite doesn't mean that the elite gonna accept you. And you don't have to put your head down everywhere you go, but you can spend your money and live where you appreciate it at more than going places saying, I got money and I'm just gonna do this and that, or I'm gonna shop at this racist Louis Vuitton store. I don't care. I got money. You're not winning, bro. Oh, sis, you're not winning. You're not showing off. You're supporting what's going on. That apartment building, basically some communities and apartment buildings are built for a certain type of people. That's just the way it goes. You know what I'm saying? Money is a beautiful thing, and money rules the world, but it's all in who got the money. That's it, bro. So when you living like that, that's why you see like a lot of celebs, especially guys in the South, they fortunate enough to get land where they don't have to be around nobody. Us that live towards the north, like these luxury buildings and shit, these skyscrapers and shit, we like that type of shit. You know what I mean? We want to live in there because it's convenient. You don't got to worry about cutting grass. It's a real lot of reason. And when you live in New Jersey and New York, living in a luxury building is just a part of nature. Where I come from, you know what I'm saying? You make big money and, you know what I'm saying, you want a nice house with a nice yard, a compound or something. That's it. But them boys more from up the north, you know what I'm saying? They live in luxury apartments, luxury condos. That's a big thing up there. But it's like certain ones you can move in and certain ones, you can move in anywhere your money take you and your credit take you. But is it worth the headache or the heartache or just experiencing racism just because you got money to live here? So I just say black celebs and people with that bag, man, you just got to be careful how you move. That's just what I think. You know what I mean? You have to be very, very careful how you move, bro. Because if you don't, you know what I'm saying, you endorse shit like this. If you'd have been in a cooler spot, more diverse spot, you know what I mean, they would have said, hey, Joe, what's going on? Are you okay? Somebody would be like, man, what the fuck is wrong with you? Realize the man sleepwalking will probably help him get back to his house. You get what I'm saying? That's in a more diverse community, a community that, We don't have to be best of friends, but we live in the same area and we're gonna protect our area. If you're not home, I'm gonna watch over your house. If I'm not home, same thing. We don't have to be best of friends. You don't. You don't. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of community that you want to spend your money in and be a part of. You don't want to be a part of, right across the hall. He doesn't like black people. Right there, he got his nose in the air. He's faking like you don't want to be surrounded by that because you got money and you forcing yourself in places where you're not wanted. Hell no. You never do that. And I just feel like some of them big dudes will do it. Wasn't he like pro Molly and pro Shroom for a bit there? It was either current use of drugs or effect drug use taking their tolls years later. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what the reason was he sleepwalking. Was he really sleepwalking? You know what I mean? Did he have a thing for the white? You know what I'm saying? Dudes, in that money world and people with millions of dollars in that TV world, man, they play. It's just like the drug world, just like prison, just like pimping, just like scamming. Every entity in America and everything you do has a community. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I mean, everybody has a thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know what I mean, with Joe Buttons. You know what I mean? For years he's been moving solid outside of, going through it with his crew. I ain't really been hearing him in, a lot of the media shit. You get what I'm saying? He like kind of like it's kind of like smoothed out, with him off the controversy, but now just banging like then they say you walking around sleepwalking naked, like, you know what I'm saying? And he's got money, of course he could get a doctor and say this happened, all that shit. He's gonna have to do sleeping tests. All of this shit can occur. You get what I'm saying? With Buttons, you know what I'm saying? If he was sleepwalking, it was just an honest mistake. You know what I'm saying? I feel him. You get what I'm saying? But also, I'm human too. You see somebody that you really don't fuck with butt naked on your rain cam and you gonna think they disrespect you. Especially if y'all not seeing eye to eye. You get what I'm saying? So it's like it's a gift and a curse. I'm not saying that Joe Buttons wasn't sleepwalking. This was just an honest case of sleepwalking. You know what I mean? It's funny as hell he sleep butt naked, but you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. But he did mention, he feel like his neighbors is racist. They don't like him. They probably watch this show and they be like, who the fuck this nigger think he is? And then it spirals out of control. And that's just the way it goes. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. But Buttons is in the headline top of the year. Court dates in January. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's definitely gonna be some money come out of this sweeping under the rug, but this is a serious hit on his career. It's crazy because he's been running so long and he's independent, he's doing a good thing, but you could take a hit. You know what I'm saying? It might don't wipe you out the game. You got vlogs saying he's done. Maybe that's clickbait. I don't think he's really done. Shit happens. Joe Button Network, it's pretty big. You get what I'm saying? It's pretty big. And Yo been grinding. He pretty smart. But this one right here is coming with a little heat. And he takes a chance of getting sued. You know what I mean? And racism is a serious word to use in corporate America. Even though you got a lot of racist people in corporate America, they hide their racism at their dinner table in the comforts of their own people. When they deal with a mass of people, they never want, even apartment complex, never want to look like that. You know what I mean? Because that's like a public humiliation when the people get in there. You get what I'm saying? And it could blow over. So I think, Joe's going to make a big deal out of it if he feel like he's bombarded. But I think, in the weeks to come, in the months to come, we'll see what happens with that. Because if he could prove in court that, he had sleep apnea or something to make him sleepwalk and shit, that's not going to be a hard thing to get out of. But then the other people could go outside of court and go for a lawsuit and just make it nasty. So I say, Joe, get you another studio, get you another crib, bro. Move into more like a diverse area, bro, so you won't have to worry about that. Know your neighbors, talk to the property manager, know who you moving in, tell them what you're doing and how you doing it, and, find the most places comfortable for you. And kind of like if you have this like sleep apnea thing, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like get some cameras or some things around, you know what I'm saying, to protect you for this happen. If that was the case of it, you get what I'm saying? If not, bro, if you just got high screams, cocaine and Molly, or you were drunk and you knocked on them people shit, boy, you playing a serious game with a man and a woman living in a residence and you coming butt naked. A man can't take that no other way, but you playing with him. So, I don't know. But like I said, this thing just happened at the top of December. It's spilling over to the new year. He's got his court date coming up, and more going to unfold. It's going to be more and more about this on the internet. People going to talk about this all day, every day. You get what I'm saying? Because Joe Buttons is one of those. He's a podcast GOAT. He's content creation GOAT. Know what I mean? So I respect Joe Buttons in this hustle. I don't know him personally, but I respect him in his hustle. I really, truly respect him in his hustle. But right now, though, this is a little time before I get off, man. It's 8:15. I'm going to open up the phone lines. You could call in right now on the topics of the New Orleans. 15 people dead, 26 injured. 2 police officers were shot. The cyber truck that blew up in Las Vegas. 7 people was injured. No fatalities. Both of these things look like they kind of like congruent. You know what I'm saying? Like they look like they related. Both of these guys were in terrorist groups. One guy had the ISIS flags. The FBI's involved. Everybody's involved. This is very shocking. Going into the New Year's, this is a problem. And, we stepping on it. So if you call in, speak on that, or you speak on Dirty Joe sex walking. That's what I call it. Dirty Joe sex walking in his apartment complex. You know what I mean? I'm going to pop the lines open right now. You could call in, man. Hey, listen. You ever call my phone line, bro? No fuck shit, no fake shit, no foolishness. You will be clipped before I even put the mic on so people can hear you. If you sound like you're stupid or dumb or ignorant, I'm clipping you. I don't got no time to play. I don't have no time to play, bro. So I'm popping that open right now, putting this wake and bake in. What y'all smoking on? Where y'all headed at? Y'all headed for work? Getting the day started on the New Year is something sweet. You know what I mean? So the joints popped open. So what's up? But let me get back to this. So Joe, Dirty Joe, man.
Dirty Joe goes all the way as well. Like on some, like I was sleepwalking. I was, just going through something, and you guys took it to the next level and intentionally misinterpreted it because you had some type of beef with me, even though that wasn't what I was doing. I was just having a vulnerable moment. But then the neighbors probably think like, oh,
was you sleepwalking or what you had a vulnerable murder?
Came over here on some mess, and that sleepwalking thing is just an excuse.
Yeah.
But let me know what you think. It is interesting to see the fan bases kind of deal with this. Like, there's the fan base who rides with Joe, and they're like, oh, but Joe didn't lie about the situation. And then there's a fan base who say, oh, Joe did lie about the situation. He made it seem as if he was kicked out of the studio due to, stereotyping and all of that stuff. But it was really this situation that was the catalyst for that. But where do you fall? I fall in the middle.
Where do I fall? I'm saying Dirty Joe. You know what I mean?
Beyonce's mom too.
Dirty Joe, man. I don't know about Dirty Joe. Dirty Joe lost his thing, man. Like Joe Budden says flip contract.
Joe Budden says Queens flip.
That's my man. Let's listen.
Joe Budden says
Joe
Queens
Budden on the chopping block.
contract is ending in 2024.
But the last day of Flip's contract is December 31st. So we're just trying to figure it out and get it together.
And what did you just say to me just now? Before you open that door? What did you say to me just now before you open that door?
Happy New Year.
I don't know. What is it?
You say, yo, you whispered it. I don't want you to. What? He said it loud, nigga. If you gotta go, you gotta go. Nigga, open the door. And walked out right after? He cleared the way for me to walk.
That's right, y'all. On the last episode of the Patreon, or in one of the recent episodes, Joe Budden announced that Queens Flip's contract ends December 31st, 2024. And on top of this, Queens Flip did a live with Ian Schwartzman where the two debated about, if Flip is going to resign and all of this other stuff. And I have to say, they've been talking about this a lot. It's led to some interesting moments on the pod. If you notice on the last pod, Flip did not arrive till the back end of the podcast for the last 30 minutes. And he kind of started begging and started trying to talk about his contract.
But you did it through Ian.
Oh my God. Is this some contract?
Yeah, it's Flip's last day today.
That's why he's here?
Yeah, that's why he's here, hour 3.
Oh, so
And now stuff like that, which is interesting because I think for all of the dramatics, all of the flair that Flip likes to engage in, he still wants to be on the Joe Budden network. I mean, I think he loves that setup he has. He gets to record his pod, gets to act up, gain visibility for his platform, and then do his stuff on his channel. Make the type of content that he wants. He gets to experiment and do different type of stuff. The Joe Budden podcast has allowed Flip to do different things.
Yeah.
Because if he wasn't able to count on another avenue of income, he would probably have to take less chances. And if you notice on his channel, he's going to places, doing travel style content. I think that's a direct result of being on the JBP, prior to which he was struggling a bit, I believe. Like he was having to do some of the content that he didn't want to do. Things like interviewing gang members, which he said that caused a lot of friction, a lot of drama. He started to get typecasted as the guy who does that type of content. Also things like skits where he was fighting folks. It was planned, of course, but it was still the type of content that made people want to approach him in public and think that he was some type of joke. He said this himself, like people would come up to him and be like, oh, you're a skit guy, I'm gonna push you, I want to battle. The Joe Budden pod added a bit of prestige to his credentials. And now, with 2024 ended, Joe and Flip are engaging in a back and forth that could be COE, but also might have real strings to reality. I do think Flip is trying to navigate being at the pod less.
Right.
And he truly does not want to be on every episode and would like to focus on growing Improper Improv, which is in a bad state of affairs. The reason I say it's in a bad state of affairs is because it just had its best episode, but it's the lowest views the show has ever seen. And it is a testament to how you can really fumble momentum, because when they first started, they were getting really good views, even though they were lower than previous season's views. Like they were getting over 100,000 views. And now the last episode of Improper Improv did 66,000 views. Just goes to show you that maybe Flip's approach to content is wearing thin. You know, the type of content where you iterate too much, you try to change everything and it just shocks the audience. You take big breaks. It's going to be an uphill battle for Flip, as I feel like Joe and him have severely devalued the brand. I even think it's getting to the point where they might need to scrap it because it's just not hitting the way it used to. I think the biggest fix for that show would just be bring Joe Budden back. You can change the name. I don't think people are attached to it that much. And moving forward, Flip just needs to listen to the people around him as opposed to thinking that his own sauce is what made Improper. But I still think Flip is going to be on the network. I don't think he's going anywhere. If anything, he'll be on less shows and make more content solo within the JBN. And we also have to factor in what might be going on as a result of the studio. Like I said in my previous video, the studio being in the situation it's in, maybe Flip doesn't need to be on every episode because it's tight. It's tight in there. Right? You might just have Ish and Ice and M4 for certain episodes, and Flip is just going to stay home and work on Improper Improv. That whole situation Flip is in is tough. That situation Joe has gotten the pod into really bad, man. Really bad. It's going to play great for the cameras because it's going to look great for controversy. All right, y'all. Let me know what you think. Man, it feels like every 2 months we talking about Flip re-signing with the network. And I think it's wearing thin on a lot of people. I think a lot of people are just like, man, I want to get over this. I just want to enjoy the pod. This bit is annoying and it's not interesting anymore. But at some point, it's actually going to be what's really happening. And I don't think this is that point. All right, y'all. Follow me on Instagram to Stop TV. Follow me on Twitter to Stop TV. Also, tap in with my Patreon, The Stop. This is
So, yeah, that Joe Budden network, bro, got a lot going on. I like the Queens flip on the JB network. You know what I mean? JBN. Flip's a good guy, you know what I'm saying? But one thing I believe as a content creator, even with myself, is that, you know, when you're creating this content and, you know, the alley hoops are great. You get what I'm saying? You know, you want your alley hoops to be blessed, but I'm so real, like, stuck on independent. Like, yo, you can't go on other nigga shit and think that, you know what I'm saying, you're going to have your way or be that person out. So that's why it's, like, really, really good to work, you know what I'm saying? To work, you know what I'm saying, to work your own magic and build up your content and then take the bag for your content because you have creative control. When you step on somebody else's show, you have to respect the game and know that, you know what I mean, you gotta just you structure it. You gotta do things the way they wanted to do. I think when Flip got on the Joe Budden network, it enhanced everything he did. What did he do in the last 365 days? With that, you know what I'm saying, to put more money. I like his content when he with his son and he go out and about and he kicking it with dudes in the hood. You know, with the way you come in the game is the way that, you know, you kind of like gonna be known, trying to change the narrative that he ain't the funny guy. But, you know, look at Desi Banks. Look at some of the artists that's just stuck with the way that they came in the game. You know, Funny Wayne, you know what I'm saying? Like Country Wayne, excuse me, like they still the same people that they came in the game with day one. So when you think about making this content and you go into this content, like, bro, you know what I'm saying? You could change in the air, but it's like, how do you change in the air? Flip came in as a funny motherfucker. So if Flip on some more serious shit, the people ain't gonna take him that serious. I really believe that because he came in the game on some funny shit. So nobody not expecting you not to be funny. You get what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. And Joe Budden network was never like a funny, like meant for like a comedian on a staff. I think personally, because the Joe Budden cover, you know, news, sports, and entertainment. And you know, he had Roy and Mal, you know, first, and they was just like they wasn't really, they joke and they laugh and they play, but they wasn't really like comedian niggas. You get what I'm saying? The Ish and the other guy came on, and Melissa, they really not, you know what I mean, joking like comedian type people. And you put Flip on there. You know, Flip is just known for playing too much. You get what I'm saying? That's his thing. That's what it was. When I seen him on the Joe Budden Network, I was like, damn, it's a good fit because they bring some type of humor to the cast. He brings some type of humor to the cast. So I was like, yo, he brings some type of humor to the cast. He a little funny because, you know, Joe Budden's, you know, they really talk. The Joe Budden Network, they really talk, and I really appreciate it. But you know, when Flip came, I thought Flip, you know, brought that twist. But also, I'm like, damn, is this an enhancement for Flip to go beyond where he trying to go, or with this hindering Flip from what he doing? Because you know what I mean, for a long time, flipping in the game, making his own way. So I don't know, but you know, the way resources are saying and the internet is saying is that Flip got better again with the JB and network and doing a thing, and you know, he's doing other shows with Joe. He's doing his thing, you know what I mean. But my thing again is like, bro, you can't, when you riding somebody else's wave, or you jumping on a ship, or you just got a job, or you got a contract, they got due dates on them. You get what I'm saying? So you gotta focus and do the right thing with your money and make the moves that you need to make to be, you know what I mean, successful and stay in this game. Because one day you hot, the next day you not. You get what I'm saying? And that's real shit. Like, but you know, I don't think that Flip. I think Flip's in a great position. That's what I think. I think Flip's a smart guy. I think Flip knows his way around the business. I think, you know, Flip need to get a stronger team around him and get some shit that just revolve around Flip. You get what I'm saying? I like to see Flip with some Netflix series, or you know, on Amazon Prime. I think Flip little shit could, you know, hit a network. You know what I'm saying? If Flip got the right team around him and the right people pushing Flip brand the way that, you know what I mean, Flip known for. I like the funny Flip. I like that content for Flip. You get what I'm saying? I don't like to really see Flip on a serious note. You get what I'm saying? Even when he being serious, he like funny. You get what I'm saying? I'm a fan of Flips. You know, Queen's Flips funny dude. But I don't, you know, y'all put in the comment box like for him just to be serious and outside of comedy and outside of himself. I don't like that for Flip. You know what I mean? I think that's crazy. You know what I mean? I don't like that at all for Flip. But I think Flip knows what he's doing. He's in there, and I think he's gonna resign, like bro said. I think he's gonna resign the JB Network because I know he helped run numbers up. And I just hope that all his adventures go well this year. You get what I'm saying? Even though I don't know Flip personally, but like I said, I've been a fan a while. I like to see the black man striving and winning. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no hate in my blood at all. But again, man, I thank y'all for tapping in this morning. You get what I'm saying? Tapping into my content, man. Like I said, the lines will be open every morning, man. And I probably jump back on because, you know what I'm saying, the algorithm wasn't hitting, you know what I mean? But still, again, I appreciate everybody for tapping in, man. Hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. Catch me this evening, man. Probably me, Spaz, Money. I don't know, Kenny probably pull up. But catch me this weekend. I mean, catch me later on this evening, man. You know, doubling back on the morning, man. You know what I'm saying? But again, man, no fuck shit, no fake shit, no foolishness. Anything you say can and will be used against you on the internet. Raw Dope Podcast.